Hi, it's Andrew Paul Cronin. Thank you for listening to the Q&A with A.P.C. Over the past couple of years, I've talked to artists, a poet, a doctor, my two moms, an orchestra conductor, a ghost hunter, a race car driver, a professional dancer, and many, many more. If you like these stories, if you like the guests, if you like the questions, if you like the show, please consider supporting it. Go to qaapc.com/donate. Thanks.
But I was always sort of curious about Cronin. I thought he was some sort of wizard. I thought he was older than he was. I thought a lot of things, and then he comes, he's like, he's just this guy. But he does the full spectrum. He lives down the street. So here's Cronin.
This is Andrew Paul Cronin, and you're listening to the Q&A with A.P.C., the show that features conversations with artists, cultural figures, policymakers, performers, and other innovators living in Virginia. Episode 40, Jarrell Williams. My guest, Jarrell Williams, is a food writer, promoter, and traveling food lover who is the founder and host of Nomarama, a food media company that produces events and spotlights restaurants and their signature dishes to thousands of followers on social media. Nomarama's mission is to bring people together through our shared love of food. Since 2011, Jarrell Williams and Nomarama have ventured out across Virginia in search of the perfect burger and everything from funnel cake to falafel. In addition, Nomarama has raised thousands of dollars and provided tens of thousands of meals to the food bank of southeastern Virginia and Eastern Shore, and organized and donated school supplies to local school systems. In June, a new show, This is Nomarama, the series, debuted on YouTube. In this episode of the Q&A with A.P.C., Jarrell shares how to find the best places to eat where you live and what makes the perfect burger. He also shares the best piece of advice he's received, his thoughts on Burger King, beets, cutting sandwiches in triangles or halves. We play a round of rapid fire, and much, much more. For more information on Jarrell Williams and Nomarama, visit nomarama.org. Jarrell Williams, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
One thing that we share in common is our parents made something called salmon patties. Right? So my mom made salmon patties, canned salmon.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of like the consistency of like a pretty thick burger. Like skillet cooked.
Yeah.
And it had these little like round bones.
The little bones in them, yeah.
And my mom would say like, no, it's good. It's okay. You can eat those. I'm like,
they're softer.
That's exactly what she said.
Yeah.
Is that your experience too?
This is so weird.
Right?
Absolutely. It's
salmon patties.
Salmon patties, man. Yeah. I haven't had my mom's salmon patties in years, dude.
Yeah.
It's been a while. But yeah, it was one of those things where one of my favorite meals that she would make along with cheese grits. Same thing. I was like, what are those? She would pick them out as best she could, but she said if there's a few in there, they're soft so you can eat them. I'm not going to choke on them. Yeah, the bones.
Yeah.
That's
the salmon
funny.
patties.
Yeah.
You said once in an interview, we all have different religions, politics, finances, but we all come together with food.
Yeah.
I think that's so great and so true. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, growing up in Northern Virginia, as you know, it's a commuter town. So people from all over the place typically move there for work, to work in D.C. or outside the area, surrounding areas. And growing up in like a typical suburban neighborhood, I had a lot of friends. My best friend across the street, Melvin, he was El Salvadorian. Another one of my best friends right down the street, he was Muslim, Muhammad. And I mean, growing up, I was raised Baptist or Christian, and I never really understood why. But what I did understand is that I like this person or this particular individual just because I like them. I don't care about their background. I mean, maybe I was just too young to understand. But as I got older, I started to learn from other people that if you aren't a certain way or if you don't follow a certain type of thing, they don't want to associate with you. But at the end of the day, we are all needing to eat food. And what better way to be able to learn about somebody than around a plate of food?
Right.
At the end of the day, it's sustenance. We need it for nourishment.
I do think it's like a great equalizer in bringing together of people.
There was this, I saw a video somewhere, and it was like one of those, they blindfold you, lights are off, so you can't see anything, but they brought a bunch of people to a table, and no one saw who they were. All you hear is their voices. And they're just having a casual conversation, and you can hear the fork and knife kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're eating food, and they turn the lights on, and they take their blindfolds off, and there's like a Sikh, there's a couple black people, a couple white people, and they're all just kind of looking at each other. There was a woman in a sari, and they were just like, before they turn the lights on, casual, normal conversation, and they turn the lights on, you look at everybody, it's like, oh, we're all different, but we all had this great conversation and a great meal, and we didn't even know we were all different.
Right.
And I loved it.
Jarrell, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on this show is because what you do is not just about food promotions. I think you promote cultural well-being, positivity, being an involved parent and husband, and I think you embrace all of those things in a really fantastic way.
Thank you.
Is that just how it came out?
I guess it's just a natural thing. So with how social media works, you either can go two different directions. You can put on this facade and claim to be a certain kind of an individual and portray this lifestyle on Facebook and only give people what you want to give them, essentially. No knocking against that. I don't particularly care for that style of social media. Prior to kind of really ramping up Nomarama, I deleted social media because I didn't like that idea behind it. And people like, especially the younger, my generation, we tend to compare a lot to what we see on social media.
Like presenting the perfect self.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible way to look at it. Terrible way to look at things, because no matter what, you're not going to have a great day every day like people show you on their social media. And I'm trying to be as transparent and as honest as possible without giving all the details, but it's literally a slice and a look into my life.
Right.
My family is my life. My business is my life. And if they just happen to come out onto our Instagram post, it's just natural.
Right.
So,
Jarrell, when did you find this passion for food? How did you develop this love affair with food?
I'm a self-proclaimed nerd. I'm a geek. I'm not a sports fan by any means. So when all my friends were like, don't get me wrong, I tried out for sports teams in high school. But when all my friends were like watching games and playing video games like Madden, I was watching Travel Channel. I was watching Food Network. I was watching National Geographic. And I don't know. I just always liked the idea of playing with food. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I remember my mom was telling me that I wasn't like in the kitchen with her or anything, but I always just had this interest to learn more about food. Not like to a heightened level where I wanted to be a chef or go to culinary school, but in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, I'm a fan of food. I like to eat too. Like my upbringing, living in an area with a lot of people that are from different cultural backgrounds, I've been to their house for dinner. I'd go to their house and, what is this? It's not what I'm used to eating, but I'm going to eat it. It looks good. It smells good.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Right. So Nomarama started back in 2011, 2012 with you and some of your friends getting together to make burgers. Is that right?
So it started, my brother, one of my best friends, Lance, we would get together and we would have local beer, and I would make different kinds of burgers. I think it was Friday or Saturday night at my parents' kitchen. So.
Like toppings of burgers or like different combinations of meat?
Yeah.
All of that.
Combinations of meats, breads, spreads, toppings. I would Google different burger recipes and I would try to redo them and kind of change them a little bit, or a copycat of like the In-N-Out style burger, essentially.
And you're cooking it like on a Weber in the backyard kind of thing? Or what?
It depends.
Gas grill?
Yeah, gas grill sometimes. If it was raining outside, I'd use a George Foreman, or I'd skillet, like pan skillet and fry it and do a smash patty style.
It was going to be or was a burger pop-up. That was like at the beginning, like that, like you were going to be cooking burgers around.
Yep.
Around.
And that's essentially why I started having people come over. Hey, I'm going to make this type of burger tonight, because I was trying to get my recipes together and trying to see what I was good at making and what I was bad at making. If I was bad, I'd change it up and try to switch around and do different things. But yeah, very much so, to where Nomarama was going to be me traveling around the area and popping up and doing a burger pop-up.
It was going to be a burger pop-up, and then you decided maybe to turn it into more of a burger club where you would go around and spotlight the burgers you had at different places.
Right.
So talk about the switch and why you decided to switch it up.
So in all honesty, after that first pop-up, I realized, I don't know if I can curse or not.
You can. I'll bleep it out.
Okay. This not easy to be a chef. And it takes a special kind of person, to be honest with you. And I respect that so much so to where I bowed down. I bowed out. I said, I am not a chef. I appreciate the culinary arts. I appreciate cooking. I appreciate a chef's mind. But me personally, I'm not a chef. And I don't want to kind of jump into a realm I know nothing about and try to, dance like I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And I said, there are other individuals who are doing these things very well. So I want to go about finding the best burger and showcasing the best burger, and me doing my part to say, hey, I see you. This is cool. I appreciate it. Now I want my friends to think it's cool and go as well.
Burgers are a fantastic food that I feel like is maybe like universally loved for meat eaters. Jarrell, talk to me about your feelings on cheeseburgers and the idea of making them what you want them to be and how they're customizable.
That's it exactly. So like an artist, a blank canvas is very exciting, I imagine. When I think of a cheeseburger or a burger, you can do almost anything with it. You can do a little to make it great. You can do a lot to make it terrible. The beef mixtures, like I said, the bread, the cheeses. There's so many possibilities, and it's a simple bread typically, but the styles of meats you're using, whether it be Wagyu beef, 80-20 chuck, you're adding a little bit of ground in there. Are you seasoning your meat before you make the patty? Are you seasoning after you make the patty? It's just so many different variables you can change. And to see different individuals making it happen and making amazing creations, it's like, I want all of them. It's like Pokemon, I want to catch them all.
What's on your perfect burger?
My perfect burger is, I'm a big sauce guy. I like a barbecue sauce. I love bacon. So I guess anywhere you've gone, typically it's like a Southwestern burger. Barbecue sauce, fried onion straws, or jalapeno, thick cut applewood smoked bacon, or I like when they add like pulled pork or something on top of it.
You probably would have liked a burger from Burger King called the Bullseye Barbecue Burger, and it was Bullseye Barbecue. You know about the Bullseye Barbecue Burger? It was almost exactly what you described. It was 2 of their onion rings, Bullseye barbecue sauce, which I'm not sure is still around anymore, and probably some bacon, 3 strips of bacon, like no lettuce, no veggies. Like, I'm different from you. I like cheeseburger, lettuce, tomato. I like the relish. I like mayo kind of only on burgers.
Yeah.
I like some A1.
Yeah.
Ketchup.
Like a purist.
Yeah.
Classic American cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Okay. It's funny you mentioned Burger King. You remember like the AV Club characters used to have at Burger King for the kids' meals or something?
No, I know the McDonald's fleet.
The Hamburglar or something? Yeah. Burger King had a very similar thing. And it's funny because like they had like a black character in their fleet. And I thought that was like, because nothing else as far as like fast food had anything relatable to me. So I think I might have gravitated towards it because of that, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and something that also could make you gravitate towards Burger King is the smokestack.
Yeah.
Because that thing, I don't know what is coming out of that roof.
Yeah.
But it smells
amazing.
Yeah. Like childhood, like instant desire for... Not for it, because you don't really
want it, but you're like, oh.
But it's amazing.
I had a birthday at Burger King when I was a kid. Yeah,
that's cool. Jarrell, what's the origin of the name Nomarama?
A funny, very short story. So the guy that I was telling you about that would come along and do the burger nights with us, my friend Lance. As I started getting more involved with it, I was like, I really like doing this. I like going to restaurants and discovering food and showing my friends this. And he's like, well, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know. I just want to do this regularly. What are you going to call it? Nomarama or Nom? I was like, actually, I don't hate that. And it just stuck.
Like nom nom nom.
Nom nom nom.
Right.
Yeah, like Cookie Monster kind of sounding things.
Nomarama is now best described as a company that does promotion, events, and works with businesses, chefs, and restaurants to spotlight the work they do within their respective industries. And it's also a traveling food series spreading the message of local love.
Yes. That's it in a nutshell.
It's sometimes hard to explain all of the things that you do.
Yeah.
You feel like that?
I do, and I get asked that question regularly. And I've always been big on, not big on, but like stick to one thing that you know well and do that one thing well. I don't think I do. I do Nomarama well, yes. Do I take videos, amazing videos? No, but I enjoy it. Do I take amazing photos? No, but I enjoy it. And I've always been an individual to just try things, just to try them. So when I was growing up, I tried skateboarding, and I tried to be a BMX rider, and I got a little bit older. I got my first camera, and I started doing photography, and I had a t-shirt brand for a little bit, and I liked a little bit of journalism. I'm not a great writer, but I used to write for All Daily for a little bit. So when I got to, building out Nomarama, I kind of found a few core things that I really enjoyed, and I love just trying new things and being able to say that I liked something, I was interested in it, I learned about it, and I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go to a new area, what's the first thing you search for food-wise?
Donuts and burgers.
Donuts and burgers.
Donuts and burgers.
So what tools do you use to search? Like, how do you plan your trip and find the spots you want to eat at and visit? Like, how do you do it?
A lot of cross-referencing. Thrillist, TripAdvisor, Instagram, hashtags, Facebook. I'm not particularly a fan of Yelp, but I do use Yelp as a resource when I'm traveling to a new area to see what is geographically around where I'm staying typically.
Much of the day-to-day operations for you and Nomarama is part food show personality, part traveling social media promoter, where you go out into the community showcasing different restaurants and their signature dishes. You post high-resolution images, videos that documents your experience with the food. How do you structure those outings? Like, what's the planning like? How many takes do you need to take those pictures? Because it all seems so effortless and like in the moment.
So the most fun that I have is finding a new restaurant, whether it be a restaurant, a store, or just a cool area to walk around. I really love being able to just discover things. So when I was on the sales team for the company that I work for, my 9 to 5, I would go for events and go for conferences, and I would plan to fly in like a day earlier or fly in earlier in the day to check into my hotel and just walk around. I don't like to just drive everywhere. I want to be able to walk around and go to one destination. And when I make it to that key destination, well, what else is around here? And just walk miles and miles and just see what's around. Or I'll go to a coffee shop and I'll ask the barista, well, where are you going to get lunch? Or where do you go to get dinner? Or I'll ask my Uber driver, like, are you from here? Yeah. Okay. Well, where do you go? I want to know where the locals are eating. I don't want to go to the commercial locations.
Do you ever just go eat without bringing you bring your phone, but you know what I mean? Like, do you ever just go eat and be like, listen, like, I'm just eating?
If it's a restaurant that I've been to a few times, sometimes, but.
So you're always like loaded and ready to go?
Always.
Really?
Yeah. My wife hates it.
Yeah. Right. Right?
So in certain aspects, she hates it, but typically, yeah.
She's supportive. She's supportive.
Very much so. Very much so.
Do you ever worry and wonder that the restaurants know you from the internet or social media and give you a false presentation, like kind of how a restaurant critic in New York City, they get the red carpet rolled out if they're like from like the New York Times or something? Mm-hmm. Like, do you ever worry or wonder that they see you coming and you get something different than what I would get?
I never thought about it that way, honestly. But if I do go to a restaurant and they know who I am, I hope that they understand that I am a food appreciator. So if I don't like a meal, I'll tell them, honestly, like for me personally, I'm not a fan of the way this works. Other people might be. Don't change anything because my taste buds are different than yours, So mm-hmm. I may have a different experience than you will.
Right.
And that's another reason why I'm not such a big fan of, the Yelp situation is because it gives people a certain weight. I'm not a chef. I know certain things pair well with certain things that certain things don't, but as far as to know how to put a full menu together and it takes a lot. It takes a lot to do that. And for somebody to actually open a restaurant, that's their passion. That's their dream. And for me to go in there and say, I hated it and give this my stamp of no, don't go, influencing others to go or not to go, it's not fair. It's not fair. So I like to say, I liked it or I didn't like it, but you should also still go and check it out for yourself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to a place armed and ready and then just don't do anything because of the experience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A lot?
Not a lot. No, it's rare, but it happens. Like I said, if I'm big on customer service. So if I go and the customer service is just not great and I had a bad vibe, I just won't post it.
Jarrell, I've heard a few interviews with you, and a few of them have referred to you as a food critic, and you're always very quick to correct them and say that you are not a food critic. What is it about that label or title that doesn't sit well with you or feel doesn't apply to you?
It goes back to just not really being a professional in the industry. I don't know. I just don't want to put this idea that I just know everything about food to say that I can critique someone's food. And not to say it's in a bad way, but like a chef has a special kind of mind, not an egotistical mind per se, but to where they're proud of their craft. They're an artist, very much so an artist, to say that this is my way of giving you a little slice of who I am on a plate.
Absolutely.
And for me to say that, well, this was, the greens didn't work well with this, and this didn't work well with that. Who am I to say?
All right, Jarrell Williams, you have listened to the show. It is now time for some rapid fire questions. Are you ready to play?
I am, yes.
All right, here we go. Favorite adult beverage?
Beer. Tequila. Tequila.
Electric or gas stove? Which do you prefer?
Gas.
What time do you go to bed?
When my kids go to bed.
What time's that?
Linen goes down at 9. And we are in bed, not falling asleep, but we are in bed at 9:30.
What time do you wake up?
Whenever my youngest son hits me, or he cries to mommy, 6, 7 a.m.
Tattoos or piercings?
Both.
Like you have both?
I used to have piercings. My ears are pierced, but I haven't worn earrings in years.
What did you have for dinner last night?
What did I have for dinner? Oh, a HelloFresh meal. I made pork chops.
The beach or the mountains?
The beach. Depends on the day, though, but the beach.
What's your dream car?
A Bronco.
Ford Bronco?
Ford Bronco, vintage.
Describe what's on your perfect pizza.
Perfect pizza. Pineapple does belong on pizza. Ham, pineapple, pepperoni, sausage.
What's a talent you have that people don't know that you have?
Oh. I used to be able to chirp like a bird, I guess. I don't know.
Can you do that? That's really impressive. Cut sandwiches in triangles or halves?
Only because my son likes halves.
What's a talent that you don't have but wish you had?
I wish I were a DJ.
Like spinning or like all things considered?
Spinning.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Breakfast.
The greatest movie of all time is blank.
Half-Baked. Yeah. I'm a big Dave Chappelle fan. Huge.
What was the last movie you saw in the movie theater?
Ooh, that's tough. Last movie we saw at a theater, we took Lennon to Cinema Cafe and saw the Lego Batman movie.
Okay,
yeah.
Good choice. How do you feel about the heels of bread? Gross? Great? Okay.
Okay.
What's the best holiday meal?
Thanksgiving for sure still, yeah.
If we were going to go eat after this, where would we go?
We're in Norfolk, so if they were open, Handsome Biscuit.
Baseball. Boring, okay, or great?
It's okay.
What's your favorite cereal when you were a kid?
Probably Fruit Loops or Lucky Charms. Something fruity and sugar jam-packed.
Coffee or tea?
Ooh, it depends. Coffee typically. Depends on how strong it is, though.
If we were going to go eat after this, where would we definitely not go?
Applebee's.
Meat grown in a lab. Give it to me. Get rid of it. Not sure.
Get rid of it.
All right, this is word association. So I'm going to say a company or a thing, and you try to give me the first thing that comes into your mind.
Okay.
Disney.
Childhood.
iPhone.
Power.
Sliders.
The best.
Instagram,
Tricky.
Virginia,
Home.
Google,
My best friend.
brunch,
On Sundays, we brunch.
bike lanes,
Love 'em.
walking,
Love it.
ice cream,
I'm lactose intolerant, but I tear it up.
hoagie,
Hoagie. Wawa.
Subway restaurants,
Yeah.
the gym,
I used to be a gym rat. I have a slight curve in my spine, and I need some adjusting. I just went to the chiropractor the other day.
sneakers,
Vans.
Donald Trump, YouTube,
This is Nomarama the series.
craft beer,
Love it. It's just a little. It can be a little much at times.
National Public Radio,
Love it.
Barack Obama,
I like that guy a lot.
homework,
Necessary.
Game of Thrones,
Never seen an episode.
screen time,
Need more.
podcast.
A.P.C.
Jarrell Williams, thank you so much for playing Rapid Fire. You did well.
That was fun.
What was the first exotic food or cuisine you remember trying? Like, how old were you? What was it? What was that experience like?
Typical Americanized Chinese food. Sweet and sour chicken. They reminded me of chicken nuggets.
Yeah. How old were you think?
Maybe 7, 8.
You liked it?
Loved it.
What was the first, like, exotic food experience?
Octopus. Was in New York. This is actually pretty recent, too. Maybe 6 years ago. Yeah, octopus.
Jarrell, you were born in Germany and later moved and lived in several towns in and around Northern Virginia. Your father was in the military, is that right?
Yep. My mother was actually also in the reserves.
Okay. What branch of the military?
Army.
You were really into video games, computers, Pokemon, and these sort of staples of geek culture now. What was your experience like with those things growing up, and were they as respected and protected by the masses like they are now?
Of course not. Of course not. Dude, I was bullied, stuffed in lockers, literally called nerd, geek. I was called a waste by other black females because I dated outside of my race, and they didn't particularly care for that. So no, not at all. It was not well received. But I liked it, and it made me happy. And those who were, my friends, they appreciated it, so they were my friends.
Let's talk some more about food for a moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to redeem a food, to take a food that is universally unpopular, but you think is really quite good.
Beets.
Beets.
Love beets.
Always love beets?
Always love. I don't know why. My mom used to get them canned.
Yeah.
I love beets. I don't know what it is. Pickled beets, canned beets. Dude, I don't know. Maybe it's the Dwight Schrute in me from The Office, but I don't know. Beets are delicious.
Talk about what's good about them.
It's like a consistency thing. They're crunchy but soft. And they've got this like sweet but yet savory taste to them, if that makes sense. And you can eat them cold. You can eat them warm. I don't know. I love beets.
If I wanted to like a beet, what's the best way for me to eat the beet? Like prepared.
Pickled is really good. Pickled beets are really good.
Pickled and chilled and cold.
Yeah, like the little vinegar taste to them. Yeah, those are really good.
How many days of the week do you eat out?
It varies. Anywhere from 2 to 3 sometimes.
That's less than I thought.
Yeah. I cook a lot. I used to cook a lot more before Nomarama really started to kind of grow. And you can typically tell. I try not to, but like you can tell when funds are a little tight, I'll cook at home a little bit more.
Do you have a pet peeve about most restaurants? Either something they do that you wish they wouldn't do, or something that they don't do that you wish that they did?
Chain restaurants, I guess. And it's just how the chain restaurant business is. They're really quick to just kind of do quicker turnover.
What do you mean?
So if I eat there and I'm done with my meal, they're quick to get me out to get the next guest in.
Okay. You mentioned it, Jarrell. You and your family have used and are subscribed to a few of these meal prep delivery services like HelloFresh and Blue Apron. What has your experience with those been like?
We do HelloFresh, and I love it. We thought initially it was kind of pricey, but instead of buying groceries and throwing them in the trash because they go bad, especially vegetables, it benefits my wife because she's the picky one. So I let her choose the meals.
Okay.
And I'm able to just, get because I work from home. I get our son from the Y. I come home, start cooking dinner, and if I can plan it out the right way and Lennon lets me, it's done when she gets home from work.
All right.
So it's nice. It's enough food to where there's no leftovers, nothing's going to waste, and they taste pretty good too.
I'll tell you what is left over though, Jarrell, are the dishes. Because we had Blue Apron for a while, and it was great. And we kept many of the cards, which are really handy for sides because the main courses, we can think of something, but sides can be difficult to rotate.
Yeah. That's a good idea to actually keep the cards too.
But the dishes can be a little bit tough.
Yeah, and I will agree with you on that.
All right, let's get back to Nomarama for a moment. You've been doing this for several years. In your experience, what are the ingredients to a successful restaurant?
First and foremost, customer service. And in listening to your customers as well. So not to the tune where you're like having them structure your menu and how you run your business, but they're your customers, so you kind of want to get their feedback. I want to be able to tell honestly, like a restaurant owner or a chef, about if I don't like something. And not to say that you need to change it, but I think it's good to be able to listen to your customers.
You're lactose intolerant. How does that affect what you do?
I used to take these lactate pills that break down the lactose enzymes, but I actually haven't had to take them in a while.
Let's say you were going to go to the new ice cream store or shop. You would take some pills that would enable you to eat the ice cream?
Yep. Right before the first bite, I take the 2 pills, and I'm good to go.
So you don't do that anymore, but so you can eat ice cream, you could eat cheese.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. You're consuming a lot of food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that a lot of stuff has dairy.
Yeah, and it killed me because like my dad suffered with it first because he's a big cheesecake fan and sweets fan in general, and he's like, lactose intolerance, and I was like, sucks for you, bro, sorry. And then as I got a little older, I was like, thanks, Pop. But like I think it's one of those like conditioning things to where if you keep away from dairy, if you have a lactose intolerance situation, it's going to keep just staying the same. But if you start introducing it back into your system and slowly like wean yourself back onto it, I think that's what worked for me because I kept eating it and I haven't taken the pills and I'm having no issues. Knock on wood, I guess.
You and your wife have 2 children. Your youngest one is still an infant, so I'll focus on the older child. My question is, how did you go about presenting and offering foods, particularly new foods, to your son? What were those moments like? What are those moments like? Do you have any advice? And now that you have a new baby, will you be doing anything different?
I listen to my wife a lot on how to offer them foods and what to offer them. I'm big on researching food and restaurants. She is very big on, I'm good on the kids too, but she's big on her babies. Researching articles and just always finding information on, I think she called it baby lead weaning, where you feed them like small things that you're eating. Okay. So yeah.
All right. So we'll do a little role play. So you'll be your wife or you, and I'll be your son. Okay. And you just gave me, you gave me lima beans, let's say. Okay. So I'll say like, no. And then she would.
Just try it,
No.
Well, you're not really going anywhere until you at least just try the one.
So it's like a try one.
At least try the one. So you can say you've tried it. If you try it, you at least gave me the satisfaction of trying it. You don't like it, thank you for trying it.
So it's like try one bite.
Right.
You get a bite, we don't push it, we move on.
So for example, he doesn't care for broccoli, but he crushes broccoli depending on the situation. And I'll tell him, dude, you had broccoli like a week ago and you ate it. It was fine. So today you hate broccoli. No, you're going to eat your broccoli. But if it's like he just had Brussels sprouts for the first time and he didn't like the way they looked and was picking, stuff off, I said, just try one. You don't know if you're not going to like it. Or we used to call cucumber green candy. He hates it now, of course, but he used to eat it up as a kid.
So I was raised in a 3 more bites home. What was your situation growing up? What was it at your table?
I had to eat it all.
It was clean plate
club. Clean plate club. And if you don't, there's no dessert.
Staying on the kids for a moment, if I can. Your children appear in some of your videos on social media. Do you worry about that? And were there or are there ever conversations about keeping the kids out of it or keeping them in it?
To a certain degree, yes. So at one point, I've done like stock imaging, like modeling in the past, and we are an interracial couple. So one of the photos that we took, they go to like a stock imaging site where companies can just buy them off the website. Mm-hmm. And Ritz Cracker bought one, and they photoshopped a cracker in my son's hand with me holding him, and the comments were just awful. They were awful. I'm surprised that the dad's in the picture and it can't be his son, and just all kind of just nonsense. And I'm like, it's a cracker ad, dude. Like, of all things, you're really going to go to this level and make these kind of comments on an advertisement? What's wrong with you, you know? So to that degree, yes. But as far as like my own personal stuff, no, not particularly. I don't worry about that.
What's the best piece of advice you've received?
Like my dad used to always tell me, you never know until you ask, and a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So Nomarama really just started just asking favors, essentially, and just asking questions and seeing where it would take me. And here I am, you know? So it's been pretty cool.
Jarrell Williams, Nomarama, thank you so much for coming on the show. It means a lot to me.
Thank you, Andrew, for having me. I much appreciate it, man.
This is Andrew Paul Cronin, and you've been listening to the Q&A with A.P.C. To hear archived episodes, visit QAAPC.com. For exclusive content, including upcoming shows, behind-the-scenes pictures, and more, follow the show on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at QAAPC. The executive producer of the Q&A with A.P.C. is Ben Riley. The music was arranged by Soup.